Welcome, guys. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it has. It's good.
I'm trying to think when the last time we talked was. Was this beginning of the season?
I think so.
Yeah, many Broncos losses ago.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I gotta first give you guys some props. You ended the streak. The Broncos finally beat the Chiefs.
Whoop-de-doo.
There's this guy goes. He always butters us up first.
I know, right? Yeah.
You don't like to get. You don't want.
Whoop-de-doo.
Buttered
Yeah.
up?
Yeah, bro. That's
That
not
was
us.
embarrassing.
That's not the
That was
Super Bowl.
embarrassing. That was embarrassing that it lasted for so long.
That is
To
true.
be quite honest.
Sure.
So yes, it was a. Yes, very much
It's
so.
okay. We don't
Glad
need
it came to an end.
Yeah. It had to at some point, right?
Yeah.
you say that, yeah.
But we don't need to get into football just yet. I noticed that
please don't.
All three
Please
of us
don't.
are wearing some Nuggets hats. Are you guys wearing the same one?
I'm going.
Yeah, we are.
Going all.
That's
Yeah,
pretty
yes.
awesome.
You know it. You know we are.
Did you guys plan that, or did you guys
No.
just have the same?
Oh yeah, we plan that every day pretty
We
much.
plan,
I'm-
yeah, for,
Yeah.
I mean, we plan on wearing Nuggets
Yeah.
hats or something, Nuggets gear.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So it
I
wasn't
plan my
Broncos gear.
wardrobe
That's for damn
strictly
sure.
around. Yeah, I plan my wardrobe strictly around what Sacker's gonna wear for the day.
That's a good thing. That's definitely a good
Yes,
thing.
you darn right, my man.
There you go.
So, tell me, how are you feeling about this year's Nuggets team?
Go ahead, Sacker. Start her off.
I feel pretty good, honestly. I mean, they're about where they were last year in terms of stat-wise. I think they're top 10 in both offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency. Right now, probably I think they're 11 or 10 in defensive efficiency. I mean, they're right there. I mean, they're pretty much where they were last year. The only difference this year is the Western Conference is tougher. You got Oklahoma City. I saw in person. They look good. They look really good. Minnesota, I think, has grown from losing in the first round last year to the Nuggets. And they play really good defense, which is what you're going to need come playoff time. Clippers are starting to come into form, unfortunately. So the only thing, and the Nuggets, I mean, they're still right. They're right there. They're tied in first place right now in the West with all those teams right now. So, I mean, yeah, they're right there. The thing that the Nuggets have that those other three teams have is they do have that championship experience. So, I mean, we really don't know what's going to happen when the Thunder, the Timberwolves, and the Clippers in the playoffs. We don't know. We do know what the Nuggets are capable of. So I think that's a big advantage they have. So I feel pretty good about the Nuggets. I don't know. Now, will they win the title? Who knows? But, I mean, they definitely have a shot. There definitely hasn't been like a championship hangover, in my opinion, from this team. So, yeah, I feel pretty good.
They're not super, injured, right? That's the other thing.
No, they're healthy. They're healthy, yeah.
What are you thinking, Tyler? You been watching?
Yeah, dude, I definitely had to pay that extra couple $100 to get the league pass out here in New York to watch them. It's worth it, though. I mean,
At least you can watch them.
that's what I'm talking about. Give me a break. My team, we've been waiting for how long to be the champs? We're the champs, so you better be crazy thinking that I'm going to miss the year after while we're sitting there as the champs defending our championship. I'm watching for sure. I'm liking it. You know what I think we're doing, honestly, and I don't know if it's the case or not, but I think it is personally. I think we're kind of doing a Golden State Warriors approach to where we're not putting so much into the regular season right now. I think we are kind of coasting a little bit. I'm not saying that we're not trying. We're definitely trying, but what I'm saying is that I think we can do even more, and I think we have more, more to give and more to show. Golden State's done that for years. When they were champs, they would come out and they would look kind of crappy after winning the championship and then come out and just totally, do mediocre, not even mediocre, but stay towards top 3, top 4, whatever, and then get into the playoffs and just totally go off. I think personally that's what we're doing right now. I think, we are playing some good basketball still, and we're fighting for the top spot still. But you could tell in certain games it's not a big deal to us, and I think that's how Malone's coaching it. I want to see a little bit more from MPJ. That's one thing I want to see. He's somebody to where I saw a story the other day. Somebody was saying that they should put him as the 6th man, and I was like, oh, please do not put him. Like, he's not in that level right now. He's killing it on rebounds. Like, he's doing a lot more than what he used to do as far as on the defensive end, rebounds, and his jump shot might not be on all the time, but his 3-point percentage is up there with some of the top in the league when he's on, and I think we're going to be just fine, honestly. I wish we would have done something with the trade deadline and got somebody, maybe another point or another guard or something for some defense. But I think we're pretty much stacked and ready to defend our championship, and I think we can do it. I think we could take it. So I'm not worried about him. I'm pretty hyped. That's why I'm wearing everything, even that Nuggets freaking shoot around coat too. Yeah, I just got this bad boy. Yeah, I'm pretty hyped about that. I just shoot randomly in the cabin, just freaking put this thing on and just shoot.
Yeah, man, it makes me want to pick up a basketball, right?
Darn right, man.
Have some fun, right? Like,
what do you think, Bob? What do you think about our team?
Yeah, man. So, I think they're doing good. I think they're, there's been some ups and downs for sure. They haven't been dominant, I would say, but they've been winning, right? They're right in it. They're not gonna. I don't think that their plan is to just, they want to get into the dance and see what happens, right? Yep. I don't think they're trying to, have the best record, right?
Yep.
That's not kind of what, I don't think that's what their strategy is. And yeah, man, I mean, again, it's kind of one of those things when you know that you're the champ, that, I mean, that's kind of almost the expectation, right? Like, not to just lose in the first round in the next year. And I think this team, I mean, the Avalanche unfortunately felt that. They lost that first round, but like the Nuggets, I don't think they're going to be like that. I think they'll advance. I don't know if they're going to make it all the way. Like Zachary was saying, there's a lot of teams caught up, right? But again, when the playoffs come around, it's you never know, right? Like, because Murray, I mean, he hasn't been playoff Murray, right? Like, he's been good here in spots, but I don't think he's been how he usually is, and that's a little worrisome. So I don't know. And then MPJ, obviously, like a lot of people are talking about getting rid of him just because.
No. I've heard a lot of that, but no.
Yeah, it's hard.
He's been fine. He's been fine, to be quite honest.
And he will be fine too. Like I said, he's grown in different areas that people don't give him really the respect for with that.
Totally
like I said,
agree.
rebounds and defense, he's way different than he used to be.
Absolutely.
So, a lot more aggressive too on both of those ends.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a long season. I think we got to keep that in mind. We can't judge the season based on how they play one game versus. We can't be too high when they win and too low when they lose. It's such a long season. Through 51 games, they're they're right there where we want them to be. So, I think that's important, and them being healthy is huge. It's just like Bob, you just mentioned it, and we keep mentioning it. The playoffs is a different animal, and that's really when your championship medal comes, basically. And they've shown that they could do that last year, and through some games this year, they've proven that they could turn it on when they have to. I'm not at all worried right now. Just as long, my only biggest concern is just their health.
Yep.
They just got to stay healthy. We know how their bench is. They're not the best. They're not the greatest. So but the starting five is one of the best, if not the best starting five in the game. So they just got to stay healthy. And if they do that,
just got to keep the K9s away from Aaron Gordon. And,
Jesus Christ.
you know what I mean? And whatever else. I can't believe that. I'm like, what? We got one of
Yeah.
our studs getting attacked by his own dog. You know, it just makes you think,
Brett,
what was he doing?
Getting too rough to
yeah,
getting
that's what
too
I'm
rough
saying.
with them.
But
That's what it is.
What are you
yeah.
doing, AG? Are you trying to dunk on your dog or something? Are you like boxing him out? What's going on? I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I'm glad he's all right. He's an integral part. So
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And that scared me, man. Like Brett, you guys know Brett.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brett and Christy. Yeah, he's the one who sent me that first about Aaron. I was like, oh God, like I hope he's okay, because you never know, man. Stuff like that. You know, like the way they were first talking about it when it first happened, it was like, who knows if he's gonna come back, that kind of thing. Like,
Right.
but I guess he came back 2 games later or something like that.
Yeah, just a week basically.
And it's not like it was a Chihuahua or anything. We're talking Roddy, but
Nah.
we're talking
Yeah,
Roddy.
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And
Exactly.
it wasn't like
Exactly.
Britt's. What's he got, a Basset Hound? It wasn't anything like that. You know, where wouldn't think it would be that crazy. But I mean, a Roddy that could do some damage.
Yeah. Right.
But they are great
No,
dogs. You know,
that's-
it just depends, like I said. And sure, his dog's awesome, but
Depends on the owner.
yeah,
Yeah, it depends on
sometimes
the owner.
you just
so.
you just don't know. Yeah, you just don't know. Like, you just don't know how they're gonna react to certain stuff. So, animal instinct.
Speaking of dogs, I think that's the big thing, right? When you're going into the playoffs, you have to have that mentality, right? You got to be a dog. You got to be willing to fight and fight hard. And I think I haven't really understood it, because the teams that I root for have never really done well, right? And the Nuggets are one of them, right? And it's hard to see that, they'll play during the regular season, but then there is a jump, right? And for me, it was very hard to see what that jump looks like and how to really understand it, right? Because you just see it from other teams, but if it's not a team that you root for, it's kind of hard to, for me anyway, to conceptualize, like, so what's the difference? Like, why is it such a, I mean, it's the same team.
That's a good point.
Yep.
That's a great point. I think Nuggets fans, us Nuggets fans, kind of didn't understand that. I think a lot of us felt a little slighted where last year the team, especially during this time where Nuggets were starting to roll and starting to separate themselves as one of the best teams in the league, and people weren't giving them their credit. People were still sort of, they still had their doubts. And the biggest reason why they had their doubts was, I mean, they really have not done it yet. And we haven't done it in the postseason, in the playoffs. So I think it was sort of that sort of show and prove sort of mentality. So to Bob, to your point, like we really haven't seen it. I mean, we were hopeful, but we never really see a Nuggets team take it to the next level. So, and if they can, so, and it varies from not only organization to organization, but team to team. Like the Nuggets team in last year is obviously quite different than the one in like 2009 with Carmelo and Chauncey and all those. I mean, even that, it was a different team. So, I mean, and clearly they made a run, but we remember how that ended. So, yeah, it does matter for sure.
Good news is we got some dogs, man. I mean, we got some dogs. AG's a dog. Jamal's a dog. We got some dogs. Jokic, you have to put him as being a dog. That dude is a dog. He's healthy. He's not, Joel Embiid, or he's not Anthony Davis. He's not these people. I mean, these bigs that get hurt. Unfortunately for Joel, he was having a great year, and it sucks when you get hurt like that. Even though I'm going for our boy to win the MVP, and I don't want to see Joel be taken out by something like that, but. He's also weak for not playing us. I mean, he never plays us in Denver, and he does it. You know what I mean? He does it strategically. He doesn't want to play us in Denver, so I gotta hate on him for that. But yeah, we got some dogs on our team. We definitely do, and I think honestly, my honest opinion is that we will start getting more gritty and more grimy and showing and that we are the champs as it gets closer and closer to playoff time, and when it actually means something. I think we're just, like I said, we're just cruise controlling right now personally, and if we're playing this good cruise controlling, and you guys are right, the West got a lot better, but I'm telling you, man, we are the champs for a reason, and I think we're going back to back. You heard it here first, son.
That would be awesome.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, when you prove that you can do it because you win
Right.
a championship, right? And then you do have a different perspective when you watch them because you're like, yeah, man, let's get to the postseason. Like, let's get, I'm tired of this regular season stuff, right? And that goes for all of the sports, right? I mean, even like the Avs too, right? Like the Avs, I don't know if you guys, do you have anything else you want to talk about with the Nuggets? Before we move on a little bit?
They're playing the Lakers right now.
Yep.
Just want to point that out right now. So
I did not see.
Are they winning?
they're looking pretty good. They're up by 8 right now. So
Man, you know what? I'm gonna go put
three and a
that.
half minutes to go. 3.5 minutes to go in the first quarter.
First quarter, I'm gonna go put that on real quick. Not that I'm gonna be paying attention to it, but I gotta be able to dual task.
That's why I keep turning my head to see. But yeah,
Good man.
they're looking pretty good. So far. But yeah, we could talk about the Avs once Tyler gets back. But yeah, I have some concerns about if there is a team that I could say between the Nuggets and the Avs that I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about the Avalanche right now.
Yeah. It is weird though that the Avalanche are so like they're so good, they're so explosive,
So talented, yeah.
yeah, and yet
So talented.
it's almost like you don't have that same feeling, that same comfort level, right?
Right.
Like I don't know, for I think, I mean, it's because they lost, they won the championship, they came back and they lost in the first round. And, what do you think about this team? Like, are they going to be able to get past the first round this time around? Or, like, what's the deal, right? Tyler, what are you thinking about the Avs?
Man, I love my boys. I don't know, man. I'm so, back and forth. I'm always optimistic about the Avs just because we have, the best player in the league right now. He's always one of the best players, but last couple of years, McDavid's been the best player. This year, McKinnon is playing on a different level, man. He is playing to get that, the Hart Trophy, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's playing to get that. I think he's wanted it, for a while, and he's just playing on a different level. That home point streak he has was ridiculous. He has some other records too. I was looking at his stats. He had 2 natural hat tricks this year or something. So we're talking, what's that mean? I think no assists. It's just him
three
making it.
in a row. 3 goals in a row.
Yeah. Oh, 3 in a row. See?
3 consecutive goals in a row.
I mean, and then just his other stats. I don't have them up right now, but I mean, he is playing out of control. Actually, I do. I sent him to my son. I can name off some of this other stuff, but while I'm looking at that, I mean, the only thing I'm really worried about, honestly, I'm not so worried about the goaltender so much. Most of the time I am, but I'm just worried about our defense and how we just give up so many, stupid penalties, and then also just dumb, it's not on Georgiev, it's just us giving up 2-on-1s and 3-on-1s and things like that because bad passes or things like that and dumb penalties. That's the stuff I'm really worried about. I don't like that. I don't like seeing that, especially when you're playing against Edmonton, who's the best team in the league right now, in my opinion. Obviously, they're not. It could go any way. There's 2 or 3 on the top, but you're playing.
They're
against
probably
these
the most
top
talented, but
for
yeah.
sure.
They're probably the most talented, yeah.
They went on a heck of a streak. They were on 18, 19 or whatever in a row. I forgot, 20 something in a row maybe. I forgot what it was.
16 in a row. They lost. 16 in a row. They lost to Vegas on Tuesday night, I think.
Okay.
But the funny thing about it, well, it's not so funny if you're an Oilers fan, was they got us to such a bad start this year.
They did. Remember
basically, Edmonton, basically that streak just got them back to where, okay, now they're
we were talking
now
about
they're kind of in
trying to
position.
Get traded and things like that.
Right, exactly.
I did pull that up here, though, the stats that I wanted to say about McKinnon. 2 4-goal games, tied for 8th most in a single season. 7 game-winning goals, tied for 3rd in the NHL. 10 3-plus point games, 7 games with 0 points. 53 points scored at home, longest home streak in the franchise history, and 84 points scored, which is second. Now, this is from a couple days ago, so this has obviously changed, but those are ridiculous stats. The dude is playing insane. Cale Makar, obviously, insane. I did see something about Landeskog possibly getting back on the ice soon. I don't know if he's going to play. They said they don't know, but they said he's getting back on the ice. If he ends up coming back, I think that's going to be huge. Not only, I'm not saying he's going to add so much himself because he's obviously going to have rust, but he's going to add something as far as morale and that team and everything, and I think that'll be huge. But yeah, I'm just hoping that we can do something as far as on defense. I think that's the only thing I'm worried about. What about you guys? What you thinking?
Yeah, man, I think that they have to reprove themselves, I think. I mean, they've been playing very well, but again, there's, like you said, there's a lot of teams that are really, really good.
Yep.
And it's this I would say the NHL might be the most difficult, road to the championship, right? I think the Nuggets have a better shot than the Avalanche at this point. And then you just said, I mean, McKinnon's doing things that you don't see,
Yeah.
And they're still not like the top team, right?
Yep.
Like it's crazy that there's that much competition in the NHL right now. So
I think they're odds wise, they're second behind Edmonton. I believe is the last one I saw. Plus 750 was the last one I saw, and that was a day or two ago, so it could change, but that's roughly about where they are. So they're still favored, like as far as one of the top, but like I said, there's just so much talent on these other teams and things like that. You just don't know. You brought up some good points, and so did Sacker as far as that. Where do you think our holes are, Sacker? What are you worried about?
You kind of said what I wanted to say about the Avs and why I'm concerned about them. I am concerned about the goaltending, but not probably in the way that you would think. I think Georgiev, for the most part, will be. He's had some tough games, to be quite honest. But I'm more concerned that their backup goalie situation is non-existent, and I'm afraid that eventually, if they don't shore that up before the trade deadline next month or at some form or fashion, I mean, the reason why he's leading the league in wins is because he plays so much. And they rely on him so much because they don't have the backup. Just for anybody who's listening, their backup that they had, Pavel Francouz, had an upper body injury early in the season, and he's out for the season. So, so that was a big blow to them in terms of that depth there. So, just afraid that he might get burnt out before the season. I mean, before the season ends, but. Your second point, Tyler, that you made about the defense, there's been way too many defensive lapses in their own zone. Just so much carelessness, so much doing. I mean, they played today. They lost again tonight. And a lot of goals were scored. Just you have guys in the middle of the ice wide open and defense being confused on what turned out to be the game-winning goal. And that you've seen that a lot lately. And that's a big concern for me because that's been happening way too many times now. Now we're in the middle of February, so that's actually my biggest concern is them shoring up in their own zone, apparently. And that's really the players are there. I mean, but that's the thing. I mean, it's just befuddles me at times that they're so lackadaisical in their own zone. So, I mean, which allows a lot of opportunities where Georgiev pretty much has to he has to be better at some. I mean, he has to stop the shots that he needs to shot, and at times he doesn't do that. But defensively, they got to shore it up because there's way too many easy opportunities in their own zone that they allow, and that's a big concern for me. So,
and that's not fair on Georgiev, like you just pointed out, to leave him like that. And you know what I mean? There's no way you can be the best goaltender in the league and you're not going to stop when you stop those on breakaways with like 2 and 3.
Either breakaways, 2-on-1s. You have passes from behind the net to guys right in front of the middle of the net, and he could just blast it right in. I mean, that's how they scored their third goal tonight.
Yep.
And it's just like that can't happen. So, But what you guys said about Nathan McKinnon, though, I mean, he's been on a mission since game one.
True.
I mean,
True.
He seems like he was pissed off that they lost in the first round, and he's just taking it on ever since. So,
hopefully his
so,
team
yeah,
losing in the All-Star game will piss him off a little bit more, because he had McDavid's team beat by 2 goals with like 2 minutes left, and McDavid's team came back, took it to a shootout and beat him. So hopefully that'll fire him up a little bit too.
So who do you, the Avalanche, where do you think they'll realistically finish out? Do you think that they have a shot this year? Or is it...
Well, right now, there's still, even with the loss, and that's the thing, there's so many good teams in the NHL. Even with the loss, they're still top of their division.
Yep.
So, even with this slide, they're still top of the division. They have the 3rd most points in the NHL, right? I mean, we're talking about all the bad things the Avalanche are doing. They're 3rd most in points right now. I mean, some teams have a game in hand, but yeah, they have the 3rd most points in the league. So all is not lost, but I mean, depends on who they match up with.
Yeah.
That's a big thing right there. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because if you would have told me that the Avalanche after the parade, going into the next year in the playoffs, that we would have gotten worked by the Kraken, like I would have been like, shut up, like there's no way, like come on now, you know, like that was nuts, man, like that was I don't know, and I think,
but that was a bad matchup.
Yep.
That was a bad matchup for them. I saw them. I saw the 3 games that they played against Seattle, and they played them tough. And they had a lot of depth, and they're just a gritty team, and that was just not a good matchup for the Avs. So, again, it really comes down to who they play. Right now, if the playoffs started today, they would play St. Louis.
I'm okay with
or
that.
Nashville. No, they play the Kings. They play the Kings.
Ooh, that would be tough. That'd be a tough draw.
Yeah. Sorry.
That'd be a tough draw. The Kings are a tough squad, man.
You know what, though? Like, I actually...
They played them well, though. Avs have played them well, though. So
yeah,
I'm a little... so I think they played 2 games.
I just drove a client to the Avs game against the Kings.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know if they're part owners of the Kings, but they were talking like that anyway in the car.
Okay.
It was a unique perspective because it was the first time they brought like their little kid. It was like their son. I think he was like 5 or 6 years old, and it was cool, man. They were having a good time, even though the Avs like stomped them. It was probably,
they did. It was
like 4-2 or something.
I think it was I want to say it was like 5-1 or something, 5-2 or something like that. Yeah, I watched that game. Yeah, that was
because they left early because they're like, this is not going well.
Yeah, it was. I wanted to pull up the score, but yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, it was like 5-1 or 6-2 or something like that. So 5-1.
To answer your question, I think they could. Honestly, you guys obviously know I'm going to say they're going to take it all. That's my answer. That's my answer, man. That's how it has to be. But if they beat themselves, that's what we just talked about, what Sacker talked about, and what Bob you alluded to too. We just alluded to a little bit of what they do to beat themselves. It's not really. They get beat sometimes, they get beat straight out sometimes by a better team that night, but a lot of the times they just beat themselves. So if we can correct those mistakes and not just give up those goals and let people back in the game. I mean, there's been so many losses this year when we've been leading and then let a team just come back and score repetitive goals and then take us into overtime and beat us, or just beat us in the last second of the period in that way. Yeah. There's been a lot of those games this year, so I'm gonna pick them to go far. I'm gonna pick them to be in the show personally. And yeah, what a surprise!
There's
Tyler's
your
a
optimism,
homer. You know what
there.
I mean?
I like your optimism. There you go.
What a surprise! Tyler's a homer. What do you got, Bob? What do you think they're gonna do? Be honest.
Between the Avs and the Nuggets, that would be the other question. Like, who's gonna go further, right? I think
I'd say Nuggets right now.
I'd say Nuggets too. I think the Nuggets go further, and I don't know. I mean, the Avs again, they could get hot, and then they could step it up on D, and maybe they're a different team this year in the postseason because of what happened last year, right? That kick in the ass is probably something that they needed, because sometimes that hangover, right? Like, you don't want to say it, but like for them, like it was very much that, and losing Kadri was a big deal, and then
it's still a big deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's still a big deal. They have not really found the second line centerman.
Yep.
That of his capability yet.
It's tough to find one like him. I mean, let him go like oof, man, that was a rough loss. True. That was a rough loss right there.
So yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited. Like, I obviously am ready to watch and see how far they go, and see what McKinnon does, and see what the whole team is ready to do. And yeah, I mean, we'll see. I think I have more faith in the Nuggets, because again, they haven't lost yet, right? They haven't gone to another postseason and lost in the first round. So until proven otherwise, they're still the champs, right?
Well, if Nate the Great keeps playing like this, I agree with you guys. I'm with you. Nuggets are definitely, I would say, are more favored than the Avs. But if Nate keeps playing the way he's playing, I'm not going to put anything past those guys, because they can put it together and do the same thing, go on a run. If then if you get Landy back, which is huge, like as far as mentality wise and leadership wise, I mean, this could be a good season, and I think we can make a run. But we'll see. We'll see what happens for sure. But if I had to pick between the two, I'd probably say the Nugs have a better chance.
Yeah. Well, sweet, guys. I have to go downstairs and grab a couple of things.
Oh, man.
I'll be right back.
Oh, God.
You want to get your Taylor Swift poster or what?
I'm gonna. Taylor Swift lunchbox.
Yeah.
Oh, how cute. How cute.
We knew Bob was a Swiftie, didn't we?
Well, shit. The devil could be dating one of the Chiefs players. He'd root for the devil.
Oh, man.
So.
You know it. Well, I did hear, actually, weird thing that they were saying, some people were saying that Taylor Swift's the Antichrist. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. Tay Swift? A Swiftie? Well, just probably because of her following and things like that. And she does have a cult-like following, I'm not going to lie.
That's all it is. That's all
that
it
is
is.
Crazy. She does have a heck of a following, though, right?
Yeah. Oh, no question.
Yeah.
It's something I have not seen in a long time.
Well, that's why you make billions of dollars off of that tour she did. I mean,
exactly.
Man, she became a billionaire off of that tour. That's how ridiculous it is.
Exactly. That's unreal. Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. She's got some bangers, some banger songs, but
that's why I can't hate.
Yeah.
That's really why I can't. That's really what I'm like. I can't really hate, because I on my phone I got some Taylor Swift songs on there I like.
She's got some bangers.
I got some albums on there that I secretly do listen to. So I mean,
Sacker be jamming. I knew.
Hey, it's music. It's decent music. So
hey,
it's like
hate, man. You can't hate.
Yeah, exactly.
Music,
Music. Thank you.
Music's
Exactly.
music,
Exactly.
Trust me.
Exactly.
I like people who got a wide variety of music. I don't like just dominated on one.
It's hard.
Like
yeah, for sure. I'm like I thought way back when I thought it was just, for me it was like R&B, hip hop, and I don't know what happened, but I just started broadening my horizon. Now I just listen to just about anything.
Yeah.
Even a little country once in a while.
See,
depending on
I know,
who it is.
man.
So
Sometimes
I mean,
too.
so it's like, yeah.
I haven't crept on any classical lately, but other than that,
Okay. Yeah.
I got a wide variety. Got an eclectic
Yeah,
style.
for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Here comes the Swiftie.
Absolutely.
Here it comes. Let's
So
see,
what's
bro.
going on?
Oh my.
Yeah.
God.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Here we go. Is that tell me you bought one early so we can make funny when the Niners beat you guys. No, that's what last year, wasn't it?
So
That was last
Yeah.
year.
Jeez, man.
So guys, so football, right?
Oh God.
So before we
We
get
talking
into
about
this-
soccer?
before we get into the celebration,
No.
I want to crack a drink for. No, listen, it's all good. This is where you guys are gonna have a good time.
Here it comes.
Okay.
No. Relax.
That's what we've been trained for, Sacker.
I know.
No, I'm actually raising a glass to when I think about Super Bowl 58. I think about the number 58, right? So for Chiefs fans, that's a very, very near and dear to our hearts, right? Derek Thomas, right?
Yeah.
So, and obviously for the younger people who probably don't remember him, but he was an amazing pass rusher that got in a car wreck and then he ended up dying later from a blood clot, and it was very sudden and just tragic, right? So, yeah, so a lot of people, Chiefs fans especially, are taking that to heart, this being the 58th Super Bowl, right? And he never got to go to one, right? And as a Chiefs fan, right, like, I didn't get to see a Super Bowl until a few years ago. But yeah, I think about all of these athletes who got taken, way too young, and not just Derek Thomas, but your guys' DT, right? Demarius Thomas, right? Like, it's sad, right? These bad things that happen to these great people and great athletes, and I think about the past, right? I think about him. I think about Derek Thomas. Think about Demarius Thomas, and not just athletes, but all sports figures, right? Like, you think about Kobe tonight, right? They just put up his statue, right?
Yeah.
And he was, that was such a tragedy with him. I mean, I wasn't a huge Kobe fan, but I respected, like, what he was about, right? Like, that dude, he could play. Like, you can't deny who he was and what he was, right, to the sport of basketball. And I think, like, we've just lost so many people, and, there's just been a lot of, unfortunately, like, African-American just guys in general that were just so great, like, sports figures, like, most recently, Carl Weathers, right?
Oh, man.
Right?
That one hurt.
Like,
Right.
we talked about him when we did our top sports movies of all time, and, Rocky, obviously, was I think it was number one, right, for us?
Definitely.
And that movie, that whole series of movies never happens, I don't think, without Carl Weathers. Like,
Agreed.
I don't think Rocky would have been the same
Agreed.
if you didn't have that guy, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
Because he was so charismatic, like, so, like, believably great at what he was doing, and he was a former football player, right? He was a Raider.
Oh, I know. That's the only bad thing about him,
That really is, yeah.
besides getting lucky and getting Rocky on that draw on the first one. But no, he's a good man.
But, like, yeah, man. But, like, for me, it's like for me, if Rocky would have lost in the second movie as well, I'd have been like, that's cool, whatever. I like Apollo better anyway.
He does speak
for
clear. Arguably, yeah. No, it was a rough loss, man. That was a rough one.
Yeah.
It's sad, dude. Like,
Chubbs. Come on, man, Chubbs.
So many Predator. Like, so many
Predator.
roles. So good.
Man. Goodness.
It's sad that he's gone, and it was unexpected, right? I don't think it was.
No, he wasn't.
He's
Nobody.
a healthy guy.
Yeah.
He was acting a lot. Like, he was.
Nobody knew.
He
Yeah.
looked still pretty good, for his age. He looked like he was still in shape. Looked pretty legit still.
Yeah.
Looked like he could beat me in a boxing match.
Yeah, dude. But he's like one of those guys you wish you would have met, right?
Oh,
'Cause
big time.
He just seems like a dude that you could just get along
Big
with,
time.
right? Like, and then obviously, Chadwick, right? Like, and I mean, it's been a couple of years,
yeah.
but, like, man, like, it's just all of these great people that I idolize, and as sports figures, I mean, they play or actors that have played sports figures and believable, and and also I was thinking, and it's a name that you guys haven't really probably even thought of for a couple of years, but Stuart Scott, man.
Oh yeah, he was.
Stuart Scott, man. That dude was awesome. Like, I miss him. Like, his personality, the way he he would give us his opinion, and just the way he would talk to us. Like, some people, they didn't like it, but I loved it. I was all about it, man. I was like, that guy's cool, man.
Oh, he was a stud, man.
Right?
Those commercials too. Come on, the ESPN commercials. Remember how good he was? Not only in just like his one-liners and things when he was, obviously doing, being a sportscaster or whatever and being on ESPN, but I mean the commercials. Like, he was amazing. His commercials were amazing. He was just an amazing person all around. Very, very deep, very smart, very, very intelligent, caring. Always. I don't know. That was really tough. He was one of my favorite on ESPN for sure. So hearing that, and that was pretty rough, definitely. But I'm glad he got honored quite a bit. He got quite a bit of honors, which well deserved. It just sucks because they take the good ones too soon, honestly. I know that. I know, Sacker, you know that in your life. Bob, you know that. I know that. It just sucks. It sucks how life is, you just never know. Tomorrow's never promised. So it's a rough one, especially when you're talking about sports and the people that you look up to quite a bit. And it's not like we know these people, but it's kind of like we do in a certain way, the way if you grow up watching them, you kind of feel like you do.
Yeah, and you just don't expect something like this to happen, and when it does, it's hard to move forward, because like you said, they're like in your living room all the time when you're watching all of these different things, whether it be basketball, football, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I mean, so that was the thing I just wanted to bring up, just because when I think about 58, I think about this, when I'm thinking about the Super Bowl, I also think about the past, right? Because I think the Super Bowl is such a special game that you can't help but think about the past, right? You can't help but think about all of the different Super Bowls, all the different moments that have happened over the years. And I have a question for you guys, actually. What was your favorite Super Bowl moment for your team, or maybe your favorite Super Bowl?
Before I get to that point, I gotta say, because I think what Bob was talking about with 58 had to have been Von Miller with one of the best Super Bowl performances by a 58 ever, by number 58 in a Super Bowl. It's not my favorite ever, as far as what you just asked. That doesn't go down as my favorite, but I will tell you that was one of the most dominating Super Bowl performances by an individual player in a Super Bowl. I mean, it was ridiculous. I think he had 2.5, either 2 or 2.5 forced fumbles, 5.5 tackles, 3 sacks, something like that. He ruined Cam Newton's life. He was never the same quarterback afterwards. I'm talking. He is the reason why we won that Super Bowl, hands down. Obviously, it's not just him, but it was pretty dang close to being. If Vaughn was out there by himself, he probably could have won. That's how big of a game he had. No, give me a break. I was slighting some of our players, but he had that big of a game.
I was gonna say,
me. Yeah, no, I don't want to say.
He had DeMarcus Ware on the other side.
Yeah, he did. But tell me, DeMarcus had a game like that. Von Miller was only the 4th linebacker ever to win Super Bowl MVP. That game was dominant.
When you have, a secondary that covers the back end the way they did.
True.
Then obviously.
Yeah. Yep, that's the truth.
So, but no, you give them props. Absolutely.
I got to. Well, you said 58.
Yeah.
You know what I mean. I just had to give it up to the 58 in my life. So that was that.
So was that your favorite moment?
No, man. Mine has to be John Elway. John Elway with the. It might be cliche, but it's got to be John Elway helicopter. It's got to be the helicopter spin. It's got to be him putting his body on the line. In that, I gotta go with the Green Bay Super Bowl. It was one that meant the world to me because I was watching it with my pops and I was watching it with my brother, and I was so worried. Green Bay was favored. It was even when we were up, man. Just in the fourth quarter, I just didn't believe it. I was just worried. I was walking outside. I was like so nervous. It was crazy to get that Super Bowl, man. That's the one that got us on the roll we were on, to put us on the map. We didn't have a Super Bowl prior to that. We'd been to so many Super Bowls and got embarrassed, and plenty. So that has to be mine, was to see John Elway finally get that Super Bowl. One of my favorite Broncos ever. My aunt Beth's, rest in paradise, her favorite player ever. He actually pitched out here not too far away in Oneonta. John Elway pitched out on the Oneonta Yankees. So big time Elway fan. That would have to be mine. I would have to go with Elway and everything. His journey to get his first Super Bowl.
What about you, Sacker?
Easily Super Bowl 32, no question.
That's the same one.
Yeah, that's the same one.
Yep.
I don't know. I remember I had a different feeling going into that game. I thought we were going to win. Now, I probably would have been devastated if we would have lost, but I felt like we were going to win. I felt like all throughout that season, we being the best, and we ended up being the best team in the playoffs, which, Bob, were your Chiefs that season.
Woo.
In the postseason.
Wait, say that again?
Well, we were good, but we didn't have Montana or
true, but still, I thought.
Yeah, you're right. We were good. We were very good. We had won 14 games or something crazy that year.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I thought that was the one team. We go into your house, we go into Arrowhead and win that game. I thought this team, they're on a mission. I mean, they beat Jacksonville the previous week.
Avenging that 96
stuff,
loss.
Avenging that, yep, exactly.
Which I'm still hurt over.
And then beating Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship game, coming off an earlier loss that pretty much probably cost them a chance to win the division that year. And I thought they were going to win that game, and just the feeling that we had a big house party, basically. All our family, aunts, cousins, everybody, you name it, we're packed our house. I don't think I've ever had that many people at our house. We were, 20 to 25 people just making noise and you could see especially in my parents and my uncles and aunts, some of them, close to tears because they watched the Super Bowls that we've gotten embarrassed in the past. The Washington Super Bowl that they always bring up, that they were so excited, and you go up 10-0 and Washington ends up scoring 42 unanswered points in that game, and the devastation of that. And just going through that, and then the following year, San Francisco, and just the ass kicking that the Broncos had. In their eyes, they felt like they probably never will see the Broncos win a Super Bowl.
Truth.
And the yelling, the scream, the emotion they had when John Mobley knocked down that final pass from Brett Favre was it's something that still gives me chills to this day. The house literally shook from just.
And then the neighborhood. Could you hear people in your neighborhood?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
man, dude. And the cars driving by honking. Insane, man.
It was crazy. It's a feeling that obviously we probably never would. But nothing is like winning your first.
Yep.
Seeing your team win your first championship. So. Yeah, that's definitely. And then the following year was sort of like. It was inevitable. That team was just so good. So it was just more like a party essentially. But that first Super Bowl, still to this day, I think during this time of year, I think about that and just all the emotions, just the.
Yeah, man.
Just the feeling of. Winning
finally getting one.
You won, so you. Yeah, and then you won the next year, and then you.
Yeah, we could have had one the year before that, honestly. If it wasn't for that Jacksonville loss, that was a rough one, and that's why it's so good that we bounced back and won that one. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's the thing. Like you think about obviously the current state of things, but you got to remember, you guys, you've been successful for a really long time, and every team has their lulls and their shitty seasons, right? And it just ebbs and flows, and you had Manning as well. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
you went through, yeah. So those times, I'm sure, are also memorable, and you know,
We
you
also
love
had
seeing
Paxton
Manning in
Lynch,
that.
though, you know,
Yeah,
and like 9 other quarterbacks.
That was memorable too.
Oh yeah, memorable. Yeah, sure was best
what's
Madden
nice
player
is-
ever.
but that's good. I'm glad that you guys, because that's the thing, man. Like, for me, growing up, I had to watch the Broncos win 3 Super Bowls before my team even got to one that I saw. I mean, obviously we won Super Bowl 4 when when we landed on the moon in '69, but I wasn't alive yet, right? And so I never saw my team. I saw my team lose and lose. I mean, we were okay. We were always okay, but we were never like Super Bowl worthy, right? We never had that. I mean, when Joe Montana came over, we still like weren't there. I mean, he got knocked out against
Couldn't
the
even win
Buffalo
one with
Bills in
Joe,
the
man.
playoffs. Like, yeah, you know, it sucks when you get older and then you get knocked out of the game.
That's
and
true. That's true.
So, but yeah, man, it was a rough ride for a really long time, and times have changed, and now, like, obviously, I gotta say, man, I've enjoyed this ride. Like, for me, if I'm looking at the past, right, it's like you guys, I'm in the same boat. That first one, which really only happened a few years ago for me, but against a familiar foe, the Niners. That was a tough one, man, because again, that whole game, like that whole playoff run, we were down 24-0 against the Texans, and we came back and beat them by 51-24. And then the next week we were down 10 to the Titans, and then we came back and won. And then the Niners, same thing. We were down 10, came back and beat them to win that Super Bowl. And man, like it was just me and my brother. I mean, we had Brett came over. There was a couple other people that came over, but like, yeah, man, I was going nuts because like, I was hopeful. You're always hopeful, just like the Nuggets, right? We're always hopeful. You know you have good players, but like until they actually raise that trophy, you know, you're never gonna be like, I believe in them, but I also I want to see it. I want to see them see zeros on the clock, see that confetti fall, right? And so for me, when that happened, yeah, man, it was unbelievable. And then obviously we didn't go back to back. We went to the Super Bowl the next year, got beat handily by the Bucks, and then we missed the Super Bowl the next year because we lost to the Bengals. And so at that point, I'm like, oh no, like what's going on? Like, are we ever gonna get back? Which, I mean, I would have been fine. Again, for me, like as a Chiefs fan who's seen mediocrity, you know, for a really long time, they finally get past that point. Last year, Eagles, man, when we beat the Eagles, that was the first time that I was like, this team has something more than one in them, right? And that's what we were talking about with the Avalanche and with the Nuggets especially. That's for me that I started to feel like this regular season, yes, it matters, but like they're not showing their true selves until that postseason. And I didn't understand that until they won, right? Like you don't know until you win that, until you hoist it, you don't realize that, yeah, they got another gear in them, and they're not going to show you that gear until the postseason, because that's when it matters, right? Like there's no reason to go gung ho every single week in the regular season, because again, like you can still win. You don't have to be the number one seed, right? Like we proved that this year by beating the Bills at home or in Buffalo and beating the Ravens. So I gotta switch hats now.
Oh, here we go.
And get ready for this one.
Oh my lord! How many of these hat changes did you approve of?
It's
I
just
know.
this one.
I know.
I have a Vegas one coming in the mail, and I'm excited
Oh,
about.
love.
It says,
Okay.
Welcome
All
to
right.
Fabulous Super Bowl 58.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I do like the color scheme. I am excited. I like the purple, right? Which I thought was kind of funny. That everybody's like, "Oh, it's rigged. It's gonna be the Ravens." And I gotta be honest with you guys. I was worried. Like, I'm sure you guys were like, "Yes, the Ravens are gonna stomp their ass."
I wasn't.
I wasn't actually.
No,
No, I actually thought. I thought to myself, the Ravens should win if they play their game. My worry was they really. I mean, they were not taking anything away from the Ravens this year. They were, especially against good teams. They were really not like the Eagles. Probably you could probably say that the Eagles probably last year coasted through an easier schedule, but on the Ravens for the most part, they played most of the good teams this year and beat them handily. Yeah. Right. So I thought to myself, okay, if they play their game, they should win. I literally tweeted it out. I said, unless they play the worst game of the season, they should win. My concern was that I thought if they were challenged a little bit, if they, were down maybe early or late, would they have the mentality to sort of, okay, this is still within reach. This is still our game. Let's do what we do, or do what we've been doing all season long. And they didn't. And because during the playoffs, I mean, there are times when you push to that, and you have to really stick to kind of what got you there. Yeah. And the Ravens didn't. And the Ravens have shown in the postseason that when times get tough, they kind of will under pressure. And that was my big concern. I mean, they rely a lot on their running game. And I thought if they get down, can they still, and they didn't even try to run the ball, which is crazy to me, which just goes to show that I think mentality just from coaching staff all up down to the players, I didn't think they were ready for the moment. And because they did not stick to what got them there, which was winning the line of scrimmage, running the ball, and then have Lamar throw based off that. Yeah. They tried to throw their way through, and that is not how you beat the Chiefs this year. That's clearly not how you do it. And that was not their strength. So I did not understand that whole game plan they had, and that was sort of my concern, was if things get tough, what will they do? And they went away from what worked all season long.
Facts.
Again.
Facts.
So
that's the truth right there, man. You might have thought that we thought that Ravens would win, but that wasn't the case.
But no, I thought it would be close at the very least.
I figured,
but I did not think the Ravens would dominate that game at all.
Nope. I thought what was going to happen is what happened. Unfortunately, I was rooting for Baltimore, but I wanted to see a rematch of the famous power outage bowl, but I had a feeling what was going to happen happened, and it's the facts. And what it is that Lamar, unfortunately, in the biggest games, man, he stumbles or he fumbles under the pressure. He cannot make the plays that he needs to make, that he made throughout the entire regular season. He had an MVP season. And then you get up against the Chiefs, which you've done so many times, and it's I don't know, it's kind of comical at a certain point.
And I think I feel bad for Lamar, honestly. Me too. Because I'm rooting for Lamar, but I think, man, he did not have a good game at all.
No, it was horrible.
Make no mistake, he did not have a good game at all. But I think, quite frankly, their offense did not set up. Their offense did not set them up for success.
He didn't play like he was in that game that he was in. He played like that was.
But
you know what I mean?
I think they relied on throwing the ball, and that's not how you beat the Chiefs.
That is not their MO.
That's not their MO, and that's the Chiefs' strength. First of all, the Chiefs' defense is their strength. They're one of the top two defenses in the league, especially their secondary.
Yeah,
and it's been underrated all season long. And I don't know. I don't know why they only ran the ball 6 times when you're the number 1 rushing team in the league. That makes no sense.
No, it was silly.
So,
God,
it was.
Sneed that play though. Can we tell you how sick that play was? It was sickening to me personally. It made me want to puke, but it was freaking disgusting. I mean, the timing.
I saw that coming.
The timing
I saw
of
that
swat,
coming
though.
too.
The timing of that swat. It was like because you know what I mean. It could have been. Let's just say if the swat was like a second earlier, right? It wouldn't have got it. He wouldn't have got it. Like it had to be perfect timing for him to come through. Right before he got to the goal line, but then get it to where he would actually knock it out of his hands and then become a touchback. It was such a precise play. That was I couldn't even believe it. Like I said, it made me sick. Yeah. It made me sick because I could tell Bob was just sitting over there like,
yep.
You know what I mean? He was probably humming and shit.
I thought it was game over. Yep. After that, I was like, oh man, they're done for it because it's gonna get in their head and it's a wrap. So.
What a play, though.
I do want to say one thing about the Chiefs, though, real quick about in that game, which is the reason why. Which I guess we'll do predictions later, but credit the Chiefs and their game plan. They stuck to what they wanted to do.
They did,
specifically offensively. I mean, I know the Chiefs were probably concerned about the Ravens' front seven and how they had the most sacks in the league this year. So what do you do against a defense that's so aggressive? You give them you throw the book at them to make sure they're thinking about everything and anything. You throw screens. You try to get the ball out of Mahomes' hand. You run the ball.
Yeah.
But Pacheco in the first half was having pretty good success. And I mean, they, even though in the second half they weren't all that successful running the ball, they still were committed because you don't want to give the Ravens a full heads back and going towards Mahomes. You want to give them something to think about, and that's a credit to Andy Reid and his coaching, to be quite honest, that they were able to stick to it. Because especially in the second half, you're thinking, oh, we're struggling, we're not going anywhere, but you know what? Our defense is playing really well right now. Let's stick to our game plan. There's no reason for us to do something out of character to that point of the season. So, and basically said, hey, Ravens, you need to score 10 points on our defense and not make any mistakes and be patient. And the Ravens clearly weren't doing that. Lamar, that interception showed they were not patient to be able to. They were not patient at all to drive down the field to get points. So,
what do you think, Bob?
A lot of credit to the Chiefs and their offensive and defensive game plan, to be quite honest. So,
Bob, what do you think was the key? What was the reason why your team was so dominant? I think in that game, you could say it was, it looked closer than it was, but your team pretty much dominated.
It didn't feel that close.
I think your team dominated. But why do you think your team was so dominant in that win?
So, I don't know if you guys
besides Taylor Swift.
No, that's
I'm wearing a jersey. It's number 29. That's Eric Berry, right?
Oh, I know Eric Berry.
Yeah, man, stud. Right?
Yep.
So in honor of the defense, right? Like Eric Berry was a stud, and during the time he was there, we had Derek Johnson, we had Tamba Hali, we had Justin Houston, we had a defense. But what's crazy is that this defense is better than that defense. This defense for the Chiefs, and I said it at the beginning of the year because one of my buddies was posting online. It's like, oh, the only reason the Chiefs are going to be good because of Taylor. And I'm like, and I quoted like a lyric from Taylor Swift's song. I was like, it's the defense. They're the problem. It's them. And I'm like, you're gonna find out, because the crazy thing is, you brought him up, man. Like Sneed, right? Like I'm gonna get his jersey. Like that dude. He's been like that the entire year, guys. Like and he didn't make the Pro Bowl. It's so it's stupid that he did.
The Pro Bowl's a joke, to be quite honest. But go on.
But yeah, man, well, between him and McDuffie is he got an All Pro nod for a slot corner, right? Which is
well deserved, by the way. Well deserved, by the way.
yeah, he's a stud too. But yeah, man, like Snead the way he hits people too. Like he's a tackler. Like he will come after you. Like he's been doing that all year long. Like he's not just a good cover corner, but he'll put his hands on you. Like there was the game against the Dolphins. Like he I don't know if you've seen this video, but it's funny. He just knocks Tyreek Hill on his ass. Like to jam him, just knocks him on his ass, and then just rubs his like head in the dirt.
Yep.
Like he just wouldn't let him go, and just
stuck
all
him,
year
right?
long,
Yeah,
man.
stuck him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, dude, man, like
You got to be
this
physical
guy,
with Tyreek.
Yeah.
if you can get your hands,
But you
on
got,
it,
but you've got exactly.
If you can get your head,
if you miss, you'll get burned.
You'll get
so you
burned.
got to
Well,
be that's why people don't do it that way.
well, here's the
so.
point though: is you're gonna get burnt 9 times out of 10 anyways. You might as well try to put your hands on him, man. You know.
Right. That's true.
Yeah,
That's
and,
true.
And it's not just Snead McDuffie. It's like our corners too. Or not our corners, our safeties like Reed and Edwards, and like these guys have been laying the wood too. Like our linebacking core is ridiculous. You know, all three of those guys. We got Drew Tranquil from the Chargers, and that dude's been nails.
Yep.
Like it's crazy because when Willie Gay would get injured or something, he would just step right in. Or when Nick Bolton would get injured, he would just step right in. And now we have all of those guys for the Super Bowl. So we have so the secondary's nails, we got the linebackers are nails, and we got Chris Jones, on the line with Karlaftis on the outside. We lost a Menahue, unfortunately, to an ACL tear. But man, that's the thing about this. For me,
Sadly, the reason why he got that injury was because Lamar Jackson put a ridiculous move on him. But probably the one thing he did,
But
probably the one thing, yeah. So,
but the thing is, this defense, I have never seen a team do this well, right? This I've never seen my Chiefs team be this good on defense, in my life. So that's to answer Tyler's question about the Ravens. I think it was the defense, right? It was the defense and just sticking to their plan and just being disciplined with it. And they've been doing that all year. Like they haven't allowed. That was the one big stat that people are talking about, that they haven't allowed any team to score over 28 points the entire year, which is like kind of unheard of.
In this NFL, it's pretty crazy. So yeah.
Yeah, man. And then in the second half, they've only allowed like a touchdown to like at most to like the past like 8 or 9 teams. So
yeah.
That's why I like, as far as the Super Bowl goes, that's why I'm excited about what's going to happen. But thanks for your props, man. I wasn't expecting you.
No, I had to be. I was telling some people on Twitter. I mean, I know there's a good big contingent on Broncos Twitter about the Chiefs and how. Well, I thought they would beat the Bills. Obviously, I thought they would beat the Dolphins. I thought they would beat the Bills, mainly because. And you know what? I have to give Josh Allen his props because he did play better than I thought he would. I don't trust Josh Allen the way he's played this year, but I actually think. Yeah, exactly. But I think they had a better game plan against the Chiefs than the Ravens did, to be quite honest. They ran the ball and kept running the ball. It was just unfortunate for them that they missed that field goal at the end.
Dude.
That was the difference in the game, unfortunately. Josh Allen probably missed some throws he probably could take back, but for the most part, I thought.
Oh, yeah, he played well.
He played really well. Yeah. He did. He played a lot better than I thought he would. I can't. It was not on him. I thought it was just a well played game, and your team just came out on top. So, a lot better than the Ravens did, to be honest. Clearly,
it's so weird because
it really is.
You hear the way people talk about the Ravens, and you would have thought that we would have gotten stomped, right? Like that's kind of the way it was sounding because they were so good. They
They were, yeah.
On offensive and their defensive side of the ball, they were just, there was nothing stopping them, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right. That's just the way it felt.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing was, like, in the back of my head, I was always like, I've seen the Chiefs play the Ravens a lot, and they always play them tough. Like, the Chiefs, no matter what, they always have something for them, right? And
Yeah, right.
I think we're like 3 or 4-1 now. Out of the past 5 games, we're 4-1, and that includes like 2 playoff games.
Yeah.
Like they're
And the only game they won was 2020, I think.
And I think that was like a regular season game.
Yeah. Yep.
But
So,
yeah, man, the Ravens. That's the thing. You get them uncomfortable and don't let them do what they want.
That's
to do.
it. That was it. And that's what I was afraid of. I thought Chiefs were going to find a way to make them feel uncomfortable, and they have not. Past playoffs, they have not reacted well to that. And this season, no one's really made them uncomfortable. Right. I mean, the only teams that made them uncomfortable were in their division. Cleveland, and that's just the way so it's divisional games. They know the teams. That's just how it is. But outside of that, no one's really made them uncomfortable. And I just was wondering, okay, what would happen if someone made them do something that they really didn't want to do? And to be quite frankly, the Ravens kind of just said, based on the game plan, kind of like, they kind of did it themselves, to be quite honest, like offensively. But
well, they made mistakes. They turned the ball over 3 times. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, no, that doesn't. Yeah, absolutely not.
So that's the thing that's talking about jumping into the Super Bowl. You know, you think about the Ravens, and they stomped the Niners, right? Like, obviously, it's been a while, but like, it's weird to think about that game and then to think about this Super Bowl matchup and to see and to think like, how's this gonna work out, right? Because it's for me, I think it's kind of like last year, how the Eagles obviously were very good and they were a powerhouse and everything else, and the Niners are the same way, right? The Niners are they're more offensively powerhouses than they are defensive, but they're good on both sides of the ball, I would say. And I think that's the thing that has me worried, because it's, for me, it comes down to, like, obviously Christian McCaffrey, man, like, you can't, if you don't stop that guy, you're not going to win this game. So
I agree.
That's kind of my thing. I mean, between him and Debo, like, those are the 2 guys that and obviously Brock Purdy, like, I think Brock is, I mean, he can make the throws, he can do some really good things, but just like any other quarterback, like, you pressure him and he's going to make mistakes. And
sure,
the thing with him is that he is so green, right? Like, he has had terrible games this year. Like, he's had some games where he's just god awful, but he's also had some, like, why are you, like, you're like an MVP, like,
right? Yep. Very true.
So it's like, who are we getting?
Who are we getting? Yeah.
For this game.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
So, and I think that's the hard part. I mean, I believe in the Chiefs defense. Like, I've been telling you all night, like, and you do too, obviously. They were just nails. And so I'm curious. Like, I'm confident, but I'm also like, these are the most amount of weapons that we've had to go against.
That is a great point.
Yeah, because it's not just Christian McCaffrey, it's Debo, it's Ayuk, it's Kittle, right? And then
that is a great point.
So, I mean, all as long as Brock just gets the ball out to his playmakers, you know, it's going to be hard, because you know, like, the Chiefs' defense is deep, but it's also like, you know, they're human, they can make mistakes, and so I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens, but I'm also not, like, scared. Like, you know, it's like, you know, we also have we haven't even talked about Patrick Mahomes. Like, we still have that guy. Like,
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Like,
Which
be all right. Like, same thing when you guys had Manning or Elway, right? It's just like, you always have that. You're always like, our defense is you know what you talk about, because you're not sure what you're going to get from them. But this year for the Chiefs, you know, it's, you know what you're going to get from the D. You just hope that they could keep continuing it on, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Should we get to a prediction? What are you thinking?
Yeah, sure. I think you said some great points. I do think this will be, in terms of star power, 49ers have the most Pro Bowlers, even though I said the Pro Bowlers trash. But, I mean, in terms of star power, I mean, 49ers have them. They're a very talented team. Yeah, I mean, they're very talented. Yeah, they're very talented offensively. Obviously, they got all those playmakers you rattled off. Defensively, I think defensive line. They got the defensive line. I mean, they got a solid defensive line. Their linebacking core is solid, of course, led by Fred Warner. I mean, by Warner, who's all pro. Their secondary is pretty good, and for the most part. Obviously, we talked about the Chiefs' defense at length. On the other side of the ball, I mean, Patrick Mahomes. A lot of the reason why. I mean, obviously, there's so much trust that Reed has in Patrick Mahomes, and rightfully so. Where the growth he has had within the last 4 years to be able to. Before it seemed like Patrick Mahomes was always looking for the big play, going downfield. So all defenses did was now, of last, say 2000, 2001, was just, we're not allowing the deep ball. And he's gotten so good now at just taking what the defense has given him. So I give him a lot of credit to that. And that allowed that offense to sort of, that offense is able to be, what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, exactly. Just efficient in terms of whether they're running the ball with Pacheco, or it just enables them to do so much more offensively than they've ever done, even though, their wide receivers are, Rice has, grown up tremendously over the past year. Just the past year. So that's been big for them. I think, with all that being said, to me, this game's going to come down to coaching. I kind of gave Andy Reid his props already in terms of just his game plans, especially with this team and how they're balanced. Andy Reid, I've always talked about Andy Reid and how he doesn't want to run the ball. He understands how important it is right now. So, and he's doing it. So I got to give him props for that. To be able to do that. And just with what he's done with this team this year, I trust him more. Honestly, with Kyle Shanahan, I think similar to Baltimore, I do want to see. I just think back with Kyle Shanahan. I know Broncos country loves to reminisce or hope that could have been the Broncos coach. But I still have some doubts on Kyle Shanahan and his game and his play calling, and I cannot shake off Super Bowl 51 when he was the offensive coordinator with Atlanta. Yeah, where looks like Tyler is coming back.
Yeah, go ahead.
Perfect timing. Going to predictions. I almost want to start over. I think I will.
Can you hear me?
So, yeah.
Feel like I was on AOL here, man.
Yeah.
Got kicked off. Feels rough.
I think I want to start over my take so you can hear it. So we were going on predictions, basically, for the Super Bowl. So, so this will be the 49. This in terms of just pure talent, 49ers have players all over the field. Within offensively, you're talking about George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuels, Ayuk. Yeah, they're deep. Even Juwan Jennings has come to his own. Defensively, you got a defensive line that's pretty good. Linebacker stud and Warner, who's all pro. In terms of pure talent, I think the 49ers have that. In terms of player-by-player talent, 49ers have more talent, basically. I mean, Chiefs, obviously, you look at, I mean, offensively, I mean, Mahomes, obviously, Kelsey, obviously, Rice has gotten his own. I mean, Pacheco has turned into a really solid running back. Saying all that, I think it's going to come down to coaching. And right before you joined, Tyler, I was going to say, I mean, with Andy Reid, I give him a lot of props in terms of his game planning this year in terms of having to run the ball when you have to. I always joked about Andy Reid doesn't like to run the ball. Well, he's doing it this year, so more definitely as a necessity, considering what he has at the wide receiver position. But so I trust. Honestly, I know Broncos country loves to kind of wish that Kyle Shanahan was coaching the Broncos. I still have my doubts on Kyle Shanahan in terms of coaching. And I keep thinking in my mind about Super Bowl 51 when he was the offensive coordinator with Atlanta and how you have the lead, an 8-point lead with a chance to really essentially run out the clock. And you basically, instead of running the ball, which was being successful for the most part, you decide to throw the ball and give the Patriots a chance and out. And that's coaching stuff similar to what Baltimore did. I mean, it's that type of coaching when the time, do you stick to your game plan or go away from it for the kill or whatnot? And obviously what happened with that Super Bowl, we remember what happened. Brady takes him down, scores a touchdown, gets a 2-point conversion, sends it to overtime, and they end up winning the game. There's times where I still have that doubt with Kyle Shanahan. I think they need to run the ball. That's the weakness with the Chiefs. If there is a weakness, it is their run defense. And similar to what Buffalo did, I think they have to be able to rely on Christian McCaffrey to be able to run the ball and have some sort of balance and stick to that to have this offense be somewhat successful. Saying all that, I just don't feel that that's going to happen. I just have my doubts on that. I think it's a close game. I think it's a good game, but unfortunately, I do have the Chiefs winning by 3. So,
any specific score?
27-24.
Dude, that is exactly my pick. Exactly. That's crazy. 27-24 Chiefs.
Yeah. And what's the worst feeling about it is I kind of feel confident in that, to be honest. I've tried to picture the 49ers winning this game, and I just don't see it. So unless they show something different, and the way they played this last month has really been it hasn't been all that impressive. I mean, we talked about the players, but ever since that Ravens game, they have not looked good.
In the playoffs against the Packers.
Against the Packers, they could have lost that game.
The Lions,
they should have lost that game. So yeah, when you think about that, I just don't see it happening. And the Chiefs have shown they're not going to beat themselves. So, and the 49ers have almost beaten themselves throughout these playoffs. So sucks, but I think you're getting your back-to-back championship, in my opinion. So,
well, I'll tell you what. I cannot stomach that, and I will not stomach that.
I'll be rooting for the 49ers, obviously. I hope I'm wrong. But sadly, I haven't been wrong all playoffs long. So,
well, good thing you're just going to start with the Super Bowl.
Good.
It's a little thing called ABC, and it's anybody but the Chiefs. So that's what I've been going for, and that's what I will continue to go for. And to stick by our late great owner Pat Bolin's wishes, we do not wish.
I'm not rooting for the Chiefs. I'm not rooting for the Chiefs. Let me just put that out there. I am not rooting for the Chiefs.
I get that.
If you have to ask what I'm thinking is going to happen, that's what I feel like.
Here's the problem, though, is that I can't even think. If I had money on it, I'm going 49ers. That is what I'm doing. It's going to be 30-27 49ers.
See.
It's going to be 30-27 49ers. Swifty is not going to be able to carry him through this one. What's going to happen is I believe Christian McCaffrey is going to be the difference. I think he's going to have a heck of a game. I think he's going to be the MVP. I think he's going to have a heck of a game, and I think they are going to narrowly edge out your boys, Bobby. I think Travis Kelce has a plan to maybe propose to Taylor Swift, but I think that's going to be completely spoiled because Bang Bang Niner Gang is going to win. And they have to because I cannot let the Chiefs have one more championship than the Broncos.
That would suck. That would really suck.
I hadn't even thought about that.
I will say that. I will say this. McCaffrey has to have a... Yes, I agree. If McCaffrey's the MVP, yeah, 49ers could win this game. Absolutely.
It's going to be McCaffrey, I think Purdy's going to take him over the edge,
I think
man.
Shanahan... I think
this guy.
Man, I think Shanahan... I don't know. I have my doubts on Shanahan sticking to a running game plan, in my opinion.
I can understand that. Shanny's been sketchy. You're right. He had a Super Bowl in his hands, and he crapped it down the toilet. You know, he flushed it. But that's the difference, though. Is just look, man. It's very hard to win back-to-back Super Bowls. It really is. It is very hard. And I'm not gonna lie. Mahomes is the best freaking quarterback in the damn league. Unfortunately, I hate saying that, but he is
one of the best ever.
He's definitely etching his way into that. He is, honestly, already, which is disgusting. I hate it, but you got to give credit where credit's due. And the dude can, like I said, make the impossible plays from scrambling to throwing off his back foot to throwing it underhand to throwing it behind his back to just the crappiest things I've ever seen in my life for my standards. But if he was on my team, I'd be hyping him, obviously, but he's not. And so since he's not, I'll just say he sounds like Squidward, and he needs Kermit, Squidward, whatever. He needs to clear his throat. And what's going to happen is 49ers are going to win 30-27. C-Mac's going to have a day. He's going to have himself a day. And Brock Purdy's little self is going to be scrambling around, making plays. And I think it's going to be just enough. And the Niners are going to get it. John Lynch is going to get it, his title. He's going to get his title as a GM. And Bob's going to be a little bit unhappy.
You know
I hope you're right. I really do. I hope you're right. But man,
yeah, you did say something that was, your internet cut out, so you didn't hear this part. But I was talking about the Chiefs' defense when you were out.
Okay, I'm glad my internet cut out then.
Your prediction is kind of funny because the Chiefs' defense has not allowed any team to score over 28 points in every game this season. Good point. No team. Good point. That's the reason. The teams, like the Chiefs, there's like the Chiefs and then like three other teams in the history of the league that have done something like that. And all the rest of those teams have won the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl,
didn't they?
Yep.
Well, listen, Bob, it's time to break records, my friend. It's time to break records. It's time to break hearts. It's time to break Swifties fans' hearts. It's time to break everything.
Well, here's what I'll say.
It's time to break my TV if that doesn't happen.
Man, I as a Chiefs fan, obviously, the recent success has been the Chiefs offense, right? But it's kind of been similar to how your Manning run was, right? Like offense, and then defense made it, they did it. And the Chiefs have kind of done the same thing, right? It was offense, and this is the first year that the defense has led the way. And the Chiefs' defense, no slouch, man. They have done something that a lot of teams have not been able to do on the road, and I just believe in them, man. And there's some stats, like even they were comparing them to like the 2000 Ravens and the 2015 Broncos and all of that. And they're for real, man.
Ooh. Man, well, no, I will tell you, your defense is nasty. I can't put them with the Broncos, Super Bowl 50 defense. I can't do that. That was an epic defense. Goes down.
Well, they gotta win. first.
They
That's
gotta
what I
win.
mean. To even
win first.
get near
Yeah,
that,
win.
but Bob did say comparing, and you can't compare that yet, man. But I
Well-
will tell you, you definitely got a good crew. Good, and it's crazy to say that your defense is carrying a team with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Isaiah Pacheco. You know, it's crazy. It's crazy to hear that. So we will see. I think it's going to definitely. To me, I think. You would think that the defenses are going to shut it down and it'll be maybe a low-scoring game if you would think, but then again, I don't think so, man. I think these guys are matched, and I think there's going to be some scoring going on. I think there's definitely going to be some scoring going on, so it's going to be who can get that final score, honestly. I think it'll come down to the fourth quarter, and I'm hoping that we'll get the edge. Not will, because I'm not no 49ers fan.
I'm
Trust
like,
that.
don't be talking like that.
No, yeah, I can't do that. But no, I'm sorry, Bob. I can't do it, man. I can't.
It's okay, man. I get it. Like I get it. It should be a good game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's right.
Hopefully, some good commercials
The
too.
only thing that I would say is that like if it ends up being a blowout, like I doubt it will be a blowout.
I'll
but
turn
if
it to the Puppy Bowl.
If Brock Purdy has a bad game, then obviously it's not going to go well, right?
And that can
the only
happen.
thing. It can.
That
but
can
I don't know if it will, but I think that would be the scenario. Like if
We
Brock
saw him
Purdy
against
has
the
a bad
Ravens.
game, yeah,
You saw that.
right. I don't
4
know.
interceptions, I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
4
So,
might have
interceptions
been.
against the Ravens.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I don't think it'll be that way, but I mean, dude's been playing well. He's a good player.
Well, that's the thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, the Niners are favored right now?
Yeah.
Are they?
2
I
points.
thought they were 2.5, right?
It may
really?
have
It's
changed.
gone-
It might have changed.
2.5?
Oh, they were 2.5, but it might have changed. That was the last time I checked. Who knows? That was a while back too, so I'm sure it's changed.
It started at 5.5. Well, now I
Okay.
gotta check.
Might be. Who knows? It can't be
It's
5.5
at 2.
still, right?
It's at 2 right now.
Oh, so you dropped to 2. Okay. I can't believe the Niners are favored. Honestly, that's just Vegas being Vegas for you. If anybody deserves to be favored, it's definitely the defending champs with Patrick Mahomes. So it doesn't make any sense to me. I'll tell
That's
you
as
that
a
right
Sunday morning. That's as a Sunday. That's as
Yeah,
a.
man.
that
That's
was
just
Sunday.
disrespectful, personally. Honestly, I
Kind
gotta
of.
say.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's just there's a lot of disrespect going on. But again, the Niners are good. They're very good.
Yeah,
And
they're
they've done well.
still 2.5. They're still
So-
2. Yeah, they're still 2.
Yeah, man. We'll see.
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna be a
2-point
good one.
favorites.
That's why they play the game, right?
That's
why
2-point
you get
favorites.
to
That's
enjoy it.
I mean, that's a toss up in my eyes, but still, that's
Well, who should be favored? Yeah.
yeah. Well, if it's lower than 3, it's a toss up. Essentially.
Oh, it is. It is. And they just want to get some bets going, and they want it to be. That's why they keep it so close, obviously. They don't want the line to be too out of control to where, you know what I mean, somebody just bets big on the underdog, and there's quite a bit of a spread there, you know what I mean? They want to keep it like this. And you got a bunch of Swifties betting, too. Give me a break. And so you figure, though, that Swifties would be betting that they would be favored, but who knows, man? I guess who knows? Crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, my favorite part of this whole season has been the Chiefs playing the villains. Man, that's great. Like I love it. Like I know because of the
Now you know you know the Patriots. That's essentially how it goes.
Well, yeah, man. Like, and they don't care. They'll be like, yeah, man, we'll win regardless. I don't care. You know, you hate us, that's fine. Like we're still gonna fight. Like I
We're
like
still
that
the champs.
mentality. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like. And that hate's crazy. It's weird almost, right? It's like,
Yep.
dude, like the Chiefs were bad for a really long time. Like, chill.
Nobody cares about that.
I wish they would just go back to doing that. It was just so easy. Goodness sake.
I know, seriously.
Why do they have to get Patty Mahomes?
I mean, they did their homework, man.
They
Moved up
did.
17
Oh, they
spots
did.
to grab him.
They did, man. He was a man. What a pickup. What a pickup. Let's do an off subject question here. What's the best out of you guys? What's your favorite Super Bowl food
Wings.
at the Super Bowl party? Wings?
Wings.
I'm gonna have. Oof. Yeah, I mean,
We should have done a Super Bowl. We should have done a Super Bowl food bracket, man. That would have been a nice little one. Could have done a quick one real quick, but
For this Super Bowl, we're doing wings, we're doing pizza, we're doing sandwiches, like one of those big ones,
doing some
And
sliders
then-
or a
and
big
then-
sandwich.
like a big sandwich.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
big dog.
And then this cheese dip that we make every year that has like 8 different cheeses and like Italian sausage and some spice in there.
8 different cheeses, bud. That's like the Ricky Bobby one. Remember, he's like, there's like so many different cheeses in that thing.
Yeah, man.
I'd have to, if you had to pick one, what's got to be there though, Bob? What's the number one in your book?
It's for me. It's the cheese dip because that's something that we have every playoffs and every like Super Bowl. And
Got to be the cheese dip, huh?
Thing, man.
You can't go wrong with cheese dip too.
No.
Then come on, 8 cheeses. How can you go wrong with that one?
It's chunky and it's full of everything.
Other than you're probably gonna be clogged up for a while, but no, it does sound good.
Yeah, that's true. But
I have to go with Sacker though.
Wings.
I'm a wing man. I'm a wing connoisseur.
From
I'm
where?
gonna be smoking 3 different. I'm smoking 3 different kinds of wings. 3 different flavors. I do it on the Acorn grill, so it's the egg.
Yeah.
And man, those bad boys turn out so good. I marinate them the night before too, so they just fall off the bone. Not only are they smoked, but they fall off the bone too. Yeah, I am looking forward to that.
Yeah,
man. Where would you buy wings if you had to buy some wings? I'm
From a
thinking of
place?
maybe getting some, like Wing Shack or something.
Like for you guys out in Colorado, man, that like my favorite wings is there's a couple different places. Fire on the Mountain, which is that's downtown a little bit.
That's downtown. Yep. That's
and
a good one.
Yep, that's really good. CD's Wings. It's in Westminster. CD's. It's off of Sheridan, I believe. That place is awesome. But if you're just going one of the places that are like more around everywhere, I like Wing Zone, or is it Wing Zone or Wing Stop? One of the two, I forget which one, but they have like the good fries, which have like a little seasoning on them, but a little sweetness to them too. I think it might be Wing. I want to say Wing Stop, man. Wing Stop.
Yeah,
I'll go on a
Wing
wing.
Stop or Wing Shack, but there's.
I would say Wing Stop, man.
I think it's Wingstop. Wingstop has the fries. They're
Yeah, if you're going like a popular one where there's a lot of different ones, you know what I mean. There's different locations. I would say Wingstop, but if you want to go to a place, I would say CD's or else Fire on the Mountain.
Yeah.
Or
I haven't been there enough. I haven't been
Wing.
It'd be carry out, so I'd definitely go.
Yeah, it would be takeout. Yeah. Takeout. Yeah.
Then if I were you, I would go CD's. If you want to go with the best, I would go CD's or Fire on the Mountain. One of those two, man. Those are my 2 favorites in Colorado. CD's is really good though. So over in Westminster, I don't know if that would probably be better for you guys, but man, that place is amazing.
That's Wing. Yeah. Fire on the Mountain's closer to me.
Oh, I would go there then. Screw it, man. You're right next to Fire on the Mountain. Go there, buddy. That's some good stuff right there.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I haven't been there in so long. So.
Good wings.